It was a terrible tragedy for Nigeria that the process, had it gone through, those of us in the NSRC would have welcomed Abiola, I can tell you that. I know very few people that were against him. But let me take you back a little bit before that. November 92, when the 23 aspirants were disqualified,
yes,
we went to see certain people close to the administration in Abuja. And the excuse that we were given was that, and we predicted this happening, the excuse that we were given was that it wasn't Abibi's decision or those of his people around him, but they act as an AFRC. And we were told that when they have these meetings, it's like a form of democracy, and that the junior officers can vote. And that a group of them was saying that no, certain candidates shouldn't be disqualified, but then some of the more junior officers all got up and said, no, if one must go, all must go. And that, so it was out of their hands, they had no control over that. We then heard the same excuse about Chief Abiola, that certain people in the military didn't want him to succeed the mandate. This is an extraordinary claim to make. The man had been vetted by the security service. They had checked into him. The government had approved for him to run. They said it's okay for him to contest. He had got his clearance. He said it's okay for Topher to contest. So any military officer at that stage or during the vetting process would have understood that there was a good possibility, a very good possibility, of Abiola winning the election. And surely the military intelligence people or some of these officers that were so against it would have said, okay, if this man comes out, we no go agree, and that will cause problem, we won't let it over our dead body. At that stage, you could have then taken chief aside and said, this is going to cause a problem. Why was it at that late stage, after saying, go ahead and run, that you now decide that it's not possible and that the results can't be released? And we've never really received a satisfactory explanation to that.
Okay, all that, if you would agree with me, seems passé now, but what have we learnt from that? Or what should we have learnt from that?
Thank you, Bola, because that's a very important point. Who was it that said those that fail to study history are committed to keep on repeating the same mistakes? What we've learnt from that is that anyone that's insincere about handing over power or seizing power or that has this insane lust for power is bad for the country, let's face it. That's what we learned from that. And that decision set us back a decade, I can tell you. And in the eyes of the international community, can you imagine how we looked? It was very, very embarrassing and very, very unfortunate. So we don't want to see that kind of thing happening again.
From your standpoint in London, would you say the image of Nigeria, generally speaking, has improved?
It has, thank God. And I have to say to this current administration, you know, some people, even in Nigeria, don't believe that I'm a Nigerian, so I carry my passport at me at all times. Do you know what it's like showing this passport in certain countries? They bring sniffer dogs to start sniffing you. You try and open a bank account, they won't let you open a bank account. They won't let you have credit card. Nigeria, no. Sorry. Because of the image that we have for drug trafficking and 419. Now, when did these industries blossom? Huh? There was a certain period in this country when these things really took off and government had a very laissez-faire attitude to these things.
What period?
It was a period immediately after Buhari. Buhari would have shot cocaine traffickers. And there were people that I know that were arrested and would have been shot had he continued.
So, be specific. What period?
During IBB's period,
okay,
a lot of these activities seemed to carry on as if it was not really so much of a problem that as long as I'm sitting here, I'm not really bothered what everyone else is getting up to. And our image abroad was tarnished completely. It's very embarrassing to be a Nigerian.
Yeah, but could you hold one person responsible for that? You know, there must have been a series of activities that eventually supported that system.
Which U.S. president said the buck stops here? Mm-hmm. You understand? That, you know, power comes from the top, that if people at the top are behaving correctly and are sincere about certain issues. How many people has Nuhu Ribadu arrested for 419? He's making life very tough for that people. And he's quite a young man, but he's just sincere. He's locking people up. If he catches you, there's no settlement, there's no question of wiggling out of it or, you know, let's share the loot. He'll lock you up if he catches you. And that's a very simple issue. These people send faxes abroad saying, come and collect millions, etc., etc. They leave phone numbers so you can call them up. You know where they are. You can trace them. So it's not difficult detective work. But the incentive has to be there. And that is being done at the moment.
But if you look at let me speak about 419. If you consider the reverse issue, why are some foreigners so not only gullible but so greedy? Why would you want to reap where you haven't sown? Have you Nigerians leaving out there addressed that issue?
I don't think it's for the Nigerians out there to address the issue, but you're absolutely correct. It's for the Western governments to address that issue, because there's a huge element of hypocrisy. There are two crooks involved in the 419 process. The 419 that starts it off, and the Western counterpart that decides he's going to go ahead with it. After all, he knows that he didn't build this refinery, or he's not entitled to this, missing a batch of money which they say they have hidden in this account or that account. So they're a willing party to a fraud. And I think one of the ways that I would suggest in stopping it is not just concentrate on the Nigerian side. Why is it we always get the blame for these things? But start arresting some of the people over there. Their own law enforcement agencies should arrest the people overside, the counterparts, Western counterpart, for conspiracy to defraud Nigeria. They're conspiring to reap what they didn't sow. They know they didn't perform the contract. They know they're not entitled to money. So they're just as crooked in their own way.
Peter, at this point we'll take a break. Well, viewers, this is One-on-One with Peter Appio, a legal advisor and financial consultant living in London but visiting Nigeria. We'll be right back with more interesting stuff. Please don't go away. Welcome back. This is One-on-One with Peter Appio, a legal advisor and financial consultant, a Nigerian living abroad. Welcome back. I'll take a number of text messages. First of all, what is your view on Southeast agitation? Can we have it roll, please, the text message? What is your view on the Southeast agitation for the presidency in Sude?
In Sude?
No, the name of the guys in Sude.
Yeah, I think we'd be very happy with that. I don't see any immediate problem. But obviously, as someone that's advising politicians from the South-South, our aim is we want the South-South for the presidency. But if it weren't possible, then why not?
Okay, another text message says, are you a Nigerian? You're making a nice contribution. That's from Chigbo.
Thank you very much, Chigbo. Yep, I'm a Nigerian. There's my passport. Yep. And I was born here. I didn't buy it.
Another text message. Can't Nigerians in the diaspora come down here to practice their profession, except politics? Lai Shubai from Ilorin.
Well, that's a very difficult question. You see, an awful lot of Nigerians in the diaspora are not over there willingly. They've gone there for economic motives. Now, let's take the case of a lawyer. A barrister of my age, of average ability in London, should be earning around £100,000, £300,000 a year. We'll say £100,000, average ability. But he can earn up to, say, £500,000 if he's very good. £100,000 equates to what, 25 million naira. So it's very difficult to say, please. And we have some very brilliant lawyers over there, QCs, and very difficult to say, please, sir, come back here and we'll pay you 10 million naira a year, and you're earning 100 million. So part of it is economic. And then the conditions of life as well are a lot easier. You know, you don't suffer from power cuts, you don't have the same problems about traffic and et cetera, et cetera. So life just is much more relaxing.
Yeah, but what happened to your sense of patriotism?